Hey everyone, my name is Imelda Lamar and I'm a product photography coach helping handmade sellers learn how to shoot product photos that sell online. And today I want to share with you a couple things that I've learned since I started doing product photography. Now, if you know me and you know my story, you know I used to sell on Etsy and that my product photos back then weren't great. They weren't horrible, I'll say that, but they weren't great. They're in no way comparison to the product photos that I shoot today. Had I known all the stuff that I know today back then, then my products probably would have looked a lot better online and maybe I would have sold more. I don't know, but we all got to learn when we are supposed to learn, right? So hopefully some of these tips can inspire you and give you some ideas and I don't know, maybe reassure you about your own product photography when it comes to your own business and the products that you sell online. So first off, natural lighting is awesome. Now, a lot of sellers, go to natural lighting as their light source for obvious reasons. It's free and it's easily accessible, though it can be really challenging to work with because weather happens and different times of year the light fluctuates and so on. But it also really creates really beautiful photos. I know professional product photographers will sometimes have to try and replicate natural lighting with studio lighting, which isn't always the easiest thing. It takes some work. So there's something to be said about that. And I would say probably almost every single product out there would look really great in natural light. It's about how you manipulate it and how you make your product look and so on. So I think it's awesome. It's really great for beginners and people who've been selling online because your product looks good. Everything looks good under natural light. So I definitely love using it as a light source. And that brings me to my second kind of thing that I've learned, and that is the more control you have over your photos and how you create it, the better. And this comes up because a lot of you, maybe you or somebody who uses a light box or a light tent. And while those are great and handy, they're also very restrictive. It makes it really hard for you to be able to create interesting photos. It's very difficult to control the lighting because generally you can't. It's all, it's all set up a certain way and you're just stuck in this like small box, right? And you can't really move your camera to any direction that you want because you have this confined space. So I definitely believe that the more control you have over your environment and how you're photographing your product and that it will make your product photos so much better. It'll help you to become a better photographer and also be able to create images that have some life and some energy to it, because those photos that are photographed with light boxes are very flat and very boring. They're very Amazon-y. That sounds weird, but they're just like typical Amazon type photos, which, if you want to stand out, you bring a little life to your product photos. So yeah, the more control you have over your product photos, the better. And lastly, one of the things that comes up so often is sellers and makers and people I work with will say, I don't know how to photograph my product, or I need some ideas. What would you, how would you photograph this? And that's a loaded question, but in short, a good thing for you to do is to look and see what are your competitors doing. If you need inspiration in figuring out how to photograph your product, look and see what other people are doing, whether it's on Etsy, whether it's via a Google image search. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be stuck. You can just go and look and see what other people are doing and find some photos that you really like and figure out how you can recreate that with your space. But yeah, you don't have to work too hard. You don't have to get stuck when it comes to figuring out how to photograph your products. There's so much inspiration and is all at the click of a button right on the internet. So I highly encourage you to get inspired by what your competitors are doing, or not even your competitors. You can just see what other brands are doing and figure out how could I photograph my product the way this brand photographs theirs. So anyway, those are a couple things that I've really learned in my photography journey, and hopefully it will help you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any feedback, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.